Whenever you meet an orc, an elf, or tabaxi, do they all say, "Hello, how are you?" in common? Well, let me help you spice up your PCs and NPCs and level up one of the most underutilized parts of D&D world building, the command tongue. As someone who's lived in 8 countries and spent decades experiencing how people communicate across culture, yeah, I know, and I never got rid of my accent. I think we can turn common tongue from a bland, everyone speaks it language into a rich cultural tapestry. Let's explore how to add cultural depth, fun phrases, and cool quirks, using both standard fantasy and my Monsoon 5e setting as inspiration. When we say common, what even is it in your world? Is this a makeshift trade slang? A once secret language of scholars that went mainstream? Maybe it's a linguistic equivalent of a roadside inn. Useful, but never fancy. Or is it the fantasy equivalent of Esperanto? Please let me know in the comment below what is common at your table and how do you give flavor to it. If it's just plain English or your native tongue, we can borrow details from other languages in your setting and sprinkling them into the common tongue. 1 or 2 unique traits can make your world feel alive without burying your players in complicated vocabulary. It also creates player engagement and generate roleplay. Voila! You can take inspiration from real-world greetings and replace the standard hello or good morning in your fantasy world's common with these. For example, for food check-ins. Burmese style, Sapi Bila? Have you eaten? In common, have you broken bread today? It's perfect for communities who prize hospitality. Or for health and peace. In Arabic, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. In common, may the winds carry you gently. A nomadic culture influencing common to include wishes of safe travel, for example. Nature-based. In Maya, Big Sebel, how is your road? In common, how does the forest treat you? This could be a greeting in a region dense with druids or rangers. Or spiritual, namaste in Indian means I'm bowing to you as a form of greeting. It could also be translated by the sacred in me recognize the sacred in you. People piece together words from various tongues, sprinkle in hand gestures and use tone, volume and pauses to convey meaning. Apply the same principle to your D&D game. For instance, maybe common in one region is peppered with slang from bird people, while in another it borrows polite notes from the octopus skin. Let's look at a few languages from the Monsoon setting and see how you might blend their quirks into common. I'll give you a fun phrase from each. And please, don't use them all at the same time in one game. Sprinkle them. In Avian, for example, Aris, bird people, speakers can speak simultaneously, reinforcing or contradicting each other. In common influenced by Avian, maybe greetings include a call and response pattern. For example, Chira, Chira. Both speakers will say Chira at the same time, meaning we share the same moons. Or whatever works for your world. For the Feliz, tiger people, Tabaxi, they are big cats. So if you know cats, there's no words for apology or farewell. Mysterious, it emphasizes non-verbal cues, like turning away to end a conversation. Borrow this idea into common by having character end a chat with a pause and a narrowed gaze, rather than saying goodbye. The hunt goes on. Say it quickly, then look away, and you're gone. Your cat. For the Ukdari, might be fish people or octopus people, incorporate face and body movement, even ink color in writing. They can also use their language underwater, so they can tap on your shoulder or hands to communicate. In common, players might see gestures slipped in alongside words, like tapping their cheeks for emphasis. An Ukdari will say, move Haugen, meaning your tide and mind dance together. Another example, Tujian, the closest thing to Old Common. This one is for the one who like depth. Incorporate the ancient language from where common originates. An ancestral root language. In common, you could have ancient proverbs sprinkled in. Tujian sample phrase will say beluta belura, which translate by from old words, new voices. Maybe elders use it to remind young ones that language evolves. And maybe a last one, a fan favorite, the capybara people, the capi. The speakers, they finish each other's sentences. Imagine common dialects in that region do something similar, like a party member starting a sentence and an NPC finishing it. Did you include exotic lineage in your world? Lizard folks, pangolins, or psychic praying mantis? Well then, maybe their physical features made them adapt common tongue to their needs. Imagine, for example, players meeting a burrowing race, living underground. They speak common for the ease of play. But how will they speak common? Creatures burrowing or living in low underground complexes might whisper nose to nose. Incorporate this into common by making people lower their voices when discussing. The earth hears us. If you can, with your table, and you play with all friends, maybe speak closer to their faces as well. Frogs and frog tongue might encourage ambiguity. Let common absorb a few ambiguous terms, leaving room for interpretation. Glock, which can mean both morning dew and quiet threat, depending on context. Saurians and lizard folk might have a pragmatic and underwater compatible language as well. Maybe their common is adapted with a few short, sharp words for combat. Grok, a grunt that can mean clear the way. That covers a lot of interesting species and lineage, but let's also speak of even more exotic languages. For example, celestials. Celestial beings will speak in poetic, layered tone. Maybe common traders know one Azuran blessing for good fortune. Luzanara whispers moonlight in your breath. Or there's a famous one, a star shines on the hour of our meeting. Tolkien once explained to his son that he was just trying to create a situation where Elenthiel humain omentiellement would be a common greeting, and that the phrase long antedated the book. I also used to say that something works fine. Selatok? Hell yeah, Selatok. More examples. Tree and mushroom people might communicate via spores. Even common speakers might adopt a phrase hinting at a shared understanding. We breathe the same secret, often said quietly to suggest trust. Are you already using some cool expression that become iconic at the table? Please let me know in the comments below. I love to read about it. Let NPCs greet the party with a borrowed phrase from another language that hints at their origin. Additionally, add one cultural saying during each session. At the head of the mercenaries of a tropical setting, say, 1 strike, 2 coconuts, instead of 1 stone, 2 birds. Will give so much personality to this NPC with only 4 words. Make certain words in common trendy, like energy or riz in the real world. Maybe sailors have picked up Sakar battle cry as slang. Give players one borrowed phrase they can use as a password, a joke, or rallying cry, encouraging them to embrace linguistic fun. And you can also start each new location they visit with a unique greeting. Tie greetings to local values, food, nature, craftsmanship, religion, cooperation, and let players ask what it means. Winter is coming after all. The star shines on the hour of our meeting. And finally, use carrots, not sticks. You should occasionally reward players with a small social skill bonus or an advantage on their persuasion check when they greet NPCs in the local style, or maybe a discount at a shop. All over the world, local people love when foreigners try to learn their languages and customs. In your world, sure, They all might speak common, but that's their common. We just started this channel, so please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. That's immensely helpful. So let's wrap it up. That's how you can spice up the common tongue. Treat it like a melting pot of your world's culture, putting in gestures, tones, and expression of other languages. Slip in a few phrases, tie them to NPC backgrounds, and watch your world feel more authentic and immersive. You'll be rewarded by richer roleplay and more memorable NPCs. Have fun experimenting and let the players pick up on these unique linguistic flavors. Happy world building, and may your stories echo across the ages.